I just kept thinking to myself, okay, what would be next? What would be next? Again, forces bigger than you. As you think, as I thought it, an opportunity for an audition for a musical theater piece. Now, music theater is not something I had done at all. So there's the dance, that's my baby, that's who I am. Music theater encompasses all of it: acting, dancing, singing.
Right.
In terms of being on stage. And I thought to myself, well, I don't sing. But it was West Side Story.
Ooh.
And this is a classic, you know, this is, whether you're from America or not, you at least know the gist of it.
Yeah.
It's based on Romeo and Juliet, set in the modern, well, at the 50s, but set in the context of this love story of different gangs, people from different gangs falling in love with each other. And this was one of the musicals that I'd really loved. So I went in for the audition, and I was, you know, like a deer in headlights. It was, suddenly I felt like I was in a movie. Everybody's in the hall who's stretching, who's warming up their voice, who is, you know, and I am thinking to myself, oh, I'm in over my head. But then I got into the room, and it was the dance audition, and I was like, okay, this part, this is the part, you know.
Yeah.
This is the part, you know, so you focus on what you know.
Yeah.
And that, the audition went great. In fact, I forgot that I was even auditioning. And right there, and that also doesn't usually happen, right there after we were completed, they asked about 8 or 12 of us to stay. And that evening, they said that we were the ones that they wanted to take on. And this was one of the most expanding opportunities. I mean, we traveled all over this planet, performed on some of the grandest stages to very diverse audiences. Asia and Europe were the focus, all over Europe, all over Asia. And I just felt myself confidently say, this is it.
This is it.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
I like the city of San Juan. I know a boat you can get on. Hundreds of flowers in full bloom. Hundreds of people in each room. Automobile in America. Romeo feeling America. Why smoke feeling America. Baby feeling America. I'll drive a Buick through San Juan. If there's a road you can drive on. I'll get my cousins a free ride. You get all of them inside. Remember, close to America. Many hellos in America. Nobody knows in America. Puerto Rico's in America.
But it is so much more grand. It is so much more
Bigger than you.
right than just the performance on the stage. When you have an opportunity to, now you're meeting people. Every time you meet a cast, it's more than likely, you know, a couple people, but more than likely you're coming into new people. So you also have to learn about communication and getting along and working in an environment of discipline for rehearsals and performance and technical preparation. And so there's so much more to it than just being on the stage. And suddenly you're realizing that it's impacting you as a complete human. On top of that, traveling and coming into cultures and just realizing that on this planet, all of us, we want the same thing, which is to be happy and to be loved.
That's right.
Right? And a lot of stereotypes that I held, or cultures that I just didn't understand because I didn't come into them ever, it just expanded me. That's the word. I was expanded as a human because of this experience through music theater and performance. And I'm not ready to give that up.
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm not ready to give that up.
And speaking about you not being ready and prepared to giving it up, there was a moment when you thought, this is it. How am I going to come back? You've experienced some injuries that were pretty big. It was a big deal. And for your profession, the core of everything is to have a very strong body.
Yes.
You know, you got to stay healthy, you got to stay fit. I'm trying to suck in my stomach here sitting next to you, but no way, I'm working on it. You know, but take me through that moment when you thought, am I going to come back after this injury? What's going to happen?
Yeah. Well, you know, it is dance performance and your body ages. It just is biology. It's what it is. Now, what I didn't share was the schedule of the shows. The schedule of the shows are normally 8 shows a week, every single day of the week, except Monday. This is the specific day can change, but it's every day of the week except one day of the week. 2 of those days, usually Saturday and Sunday, there are 2 performances, right? So you're looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. And usually on Monday, your body's like, let's rest. And your brain is like, I need to do everything else that my life needs me to do. So let me go running all over the place to get that done, because it all starts over again on Tuesday. And it wears on you. It's exhausting. It's physically and mentally grinding. And there are times when your body breaks. Right? It just tells you, you won't stop, so I will. And, you know, you have the usual energy. I pulled this, torn that, and maybe a broken bone or 2. But for me, the more sort of potentially devastating situations was with my spine. And the first situation was at the top of 2012 when I got diagnosed with a severely dislodged vertebrae. Yes. And I remember when I saw the doctor, he said to me, you need surgery right away. If you'd like a second opinion, here's the name of some doctors, but hurry up, make haste. Get the opinions, whatever. And I remember I went to see the second doctor, and he walked in, and I was with the physical therapist with the show, who was sitting next to me, and he goes, who's the injured person? So I said, it's me. He's like, I don't know how you're like sitting here in front of me, not in intense pain, because he's like, okay, why are you here today? I'm like, I'm here for a second opinion. He's like, here's my second opinion, get a surgery. Wow. You know, it like was all of 4 minutes. I said, okay. So this was in the cervical spine, so up in the neck. And there's a whole long story about that, but the point is, I happened to be in a very fortunate and favored situation of speaking with a cutting-edge surgeon. So he did a surgery on me that would allow me to retain the rotation in my neck, right? That is, normally they fuse it, so what would have happened was I would have, every time I'm turning to you, without this agility, right, to do that, it would more be like I have to turn a whole structure to you, right? And he did this because he knew that I was a performer. And this surgery was exceptionally successful. And at that point, I was like, look, I'm going to get this surgery and I'm going to come back. And I did, right? I'm telling, again, another long story in a truncated version because I want to get to the second issue. A few years later, I'm having immense just sort of pain in my right leg from what felt like it was coming from my hip. And it became bad enough. I'm in show, right? Meaning that I'm under contract. I'm doing 8 shows a week. Have access to the company physical therapist, but she would do her thing. I would feel better. I would do a show. I would feel worse. Do her thing, feel better. Do a show, feel worse. This circle. And again, as you mature into your craft, you start understanding you are the primary advocate for yourself. Your body is your product, as is your mind. You are the advocate for yourself. In your youth, you will break yourself for people. You will break yourself for people. And this is in any industry. for people who will replace you at a moment's notice if you cannot do the job, right? If for some reason you cannot do the job, you are replaceable. So I'm the only advocate of my person, or the greatest advocate of my person. So I said, I can't keep doing this. Went to a doctor. As it turns out, it's my lower spine now. And this came from a very acrobatic move I used to do in one of my shows. And that one, it wore me out. He said you would have to take a year off. That the surgery was involved another implant into the back of the spine. So that would have been my second. And I just had all this reflection to do. Like, do I want to keep doing this to my body? And it's really interesting because right around that time, Kobe Bryant did, he wrote something, called it a love letter to basketball. And this thing resonated with me so immensely because what he said was, I love you, but you hurt me, like you're hurting me. And this was where I stood. And so that was the conundrum that I was in. Like, I love you, but you're hurting me. And in any situation like that, if something or someone is hurting you, you have to ask yourself if it's worth staying in it, right? And I, again, was very fortunate to come into an exceptional doctor, Dr. David Frazier, who said that he could restore my spine to be able to keep performing, but it would take a lot of discipline and rebuilding. And I almost said, okay, we'll do the surgery and I'll figure it out from there. It's time. But then a year later, I remember I went to him 6 months. In 6 months, I went to him. I said, I feel so good. I think I'm ready. And he goes, you think you're ready, but your x-rays say you're not. And he was also an advocate for me. And he said, I can see that you want to go back to it, but you have some uncertainty. I'm telling you, if you stick to this regimen, if you take care of your body by resting, right, you will come back to it. And that was a big lesson where it was like, okay, sometimes you do need to stop.
You have to,
You need to stop. You need to recalibrate. You need to know, who am I now? And how does that impact what I want to do? And move from that place, move from that evolved place. And so I came out of it, and the force is bigger than me. I got a phone call from my agent saying, this show wants you, this Broadway show wants you. You don't have to audition. They just want you to be in the piece. I was like, what is happening?
Man.
Yeah, it's like, and like, how do I say no? But I was afraid. I was actually quite fearful. And I have a fantastic mentor. His name is Chuck Cooper. He's a Broadway veteran, Tony nominated several times. And I called him to get guidance from him. And he sat me through a pro and con conversation. And one of the questions was, do you want to be off stage for the rest of your life? And I was no. And he was like, here's an opportunity to be on stage. And that was the latest show. That was SpongeBob SquarePants. The most bizarre opportunity that I just thought to myself, I don't know what this show is going to be. And I eventually accepted the offer. And I walked into it, and lo and behold, it's a place of healing, continued healing. It is a safe space for my body because I knew the choreographer. And he ensured that if there was anything I couldn't execute, that he wouldn't ask me to do it, but I could execute it.
Hello.
Except one step, but. the joy and optimism of the show carried into the cast. And that, all of a sudden, I realized I was stronger for it. So this is a continued lesson in my experiences, that it's not just about the physical on stage performance. It is about the people and the energy that is encompassing all that makes it, from the creative team, the director, the lighting designer, the choreographer, like who are they as people and how do they feel about their craft and how does that impact your own? So suddenly I was healed and I did not even realize
what was going
it.
on.
I didn't even realize that I was healed. I was back on stage. I'm in the show. It's nominated for 12 Tonys.
Yes.
It's joyous. It's uplifting. It allows me to have audiences from baby to 108. Because it's a family friendly show, and very often with my shows, it's like it has to be age appropriate, right? And it was just a testament to me of rebuilding. But what does rebuilding look like? And it often requires stillness.
That's right.
And this particular injury and surgery created a forced stillness that eventually became an accepted one. And there was a revision from there. So as I sit here sharing with you, the vision of who I am on stage has changed. And in truth and in fact, I don't want to wear out my body as much. So what does that look like as a dancer? And I just realized these are lessons that extend far beyond this category of dancer, performer, or whatever. It's for any human.
That's right.
Stillness sometimes is absolutely, it must happen for you to reevaluate.
Very true.
And come into who you are in that moment. Because sometimes we want to hold on so tightly to the way we envision something and the way that we see something. But when you pause for a bit, the way you see the same painting, it starts to evolve. And you can now express it from who you are now. And that ensures that that whatever your step forward are, more than likely it will be of a greater quality. Right? Because now you have evolved from this place, but you're also authentic in who you've evolved to become. Absolutely. And I am older. I am more aware of limits to my body, but I embrace that instead of shy away from it. It makes me more forthright in saying what I want. It also put me in a position of understanding my worth, right? I know I put in the time and I put in the work, and I know my worth, and I know what I can do for someone's creative vision, but I want to be able to do it without destroying my body, right? Because again, if I do, someone replaces me, and I am left in the lurch while this vision continues. So yes, I want to be a part of the vision, but knowing my worth and understanding how I can contribute to it, that took stillness. It took that time off. So these injuries, as devastating as they could have been, each one was actually a sort of cocoon. Of course. Right? So that you butterfly into becoming a new version of yourself.
I'm listening to you, and I'm sure there's a lot that you spoke of that resonates even with me, and I think you kind of tossed a couple things my way, because I felt that energy.
Absolutely,
because
yes.
you and I, we're sort of in the same boat, so to speak, where we have passions, and we've second guessed certain things, and we're like, do I need to continue this? I'm getting older, and it's very deep. I really appreciate it. Is there anything that you would like to share with your viewers and the viewers in terms of what one shouldn't take for granted, or what you, Rachel Oneika Phillips, will never take for granted in this life?
I will never take for granted that I came from, in the context of the world, a small place, and managed to break through the noise and the haste and the competition and reach a point of achievement that I'm very proud of.
Yes.
Is there more that I can do? Absolutely. Is there more that I want to do? Absolutely. But I think it's important for me to understand that I could have been told that because of where I'm from, And because of a lack of resources and because of a lack of training, I cannot. And I did. Against all the odds, I absolutely did. And I don't take that for granted. And in truth and in fact, I actually think it is exactly because of where I'm from that I have managed to have the tenacity to keep pushing forward. One more important thing, I think, on the conversation, let's say of a mantra. When I did O-levels, I got 8 distinctions, which at the time was fantastic. I mean, these days I'm hearing 13, 15. Oh my gosh. Well, kudos to the school system and kudos to those young people. But I got 8 distinctions, and my father was very proud of it, and he gave me a plaque that said, excellence is one thing, maintenance is another.
Yes.
And I remember looking at this thing and being like, but daddy, oh gosh, like, what is it? I can't maintain. Yeah, you know, like it just, and I felt a real kind of, I remember feeling a ways about it as if to say, yes, you did well, but can you maintain that?
Right.
And then this was above my bed, and I would read it daily, and then one day it clicked, which is to say, when you do achieve something, that is a fantastic thing, and you must acknowledge it, and you must be proud of it. But what is the work that you are going to do to maintain a point of excellence? What does it take to maintain that? And then on top of that, challenge yourself to surpass it. So excellence is one thing and maintenance is another. So I try to achieve excellence and maintain whatever I do, maintain excellence. Does it always work? Absolutely not, because failure is a part of the game. And it doesn't, failure has a negative connotation, doesn't have to be negative. It is just a part of the building blocks towards attaining a new level of excellence. And so that's my encouragement to people is, don't take your opportunities for granted. Live in a place of gratitude for what you do have access to, and strive for even more. Even if people telling you cannot, strive for even more, and the forces that be will conspire.
Definitely.
They will conspire to ensure your success.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can you share your, I know you're on social media, so for our viewers who may want to connect with you and follow your journey on this exciting path, I know you're Dragon Passion Fruit on on Instagram, right?
On Instagram. So, and listen, that thing means so much. So the dragon is the Chinese zodiac. It's the only mythical creature on that. And I'm not a big zodiac person, but I've always associated with the nature of a dragon.
Right.
And the passion fruit, it was my favorite fruit from home. So it just worked. So on Instagram, on IG, it is Dragon Passion Fruit, and then on Facebook it's Rachel Oneika Phillips. The stage name is Oneika Phillips. So any performances in New York or internationally, it will be billed as Oneika Phillips.
Great. And
thank you, Lexanne. Thank you for having me, for the opportunity to reflect. Again, this is one of those moments where it is not about conceit and just talking about what you've done, but the conversation of what it takes to do what you've done and what you go through. This adage of, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life, is not true.
Thank you.
In fact, if you love what you're doing, you will work even harder at it, because it is so important to you that it is done with a sense of excellence. So trust me.
Yes, I believe
Find your passion. You will be inspired towards excellence.
Definitely.
Yes.
And blessings, continued blessings to you for the future. I can just imagine what the future is going to hold for you, girl. And I just want to wish you all the best. On behalf of everybody here, my team, my 7-year-old says hi. Her name is Layla, because I showed her images of SpongeBob, the production and everything. She says hi. But best wishes. And
thank you so much.
You are definitely
and to you too, you know, all the work that you have done for this island in terms of giving people with passion and purpose a voice and an opportunity to speak to fellow Grenadians. I think that is essential. It is just essential in keeping young minds incited, excited, inspired. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we end with a hug. Thank you so much.
God bless. Thank you, darling.
Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in. Of course, there's lots more to come on LexanneTV.com. Continue to follow me, and of course, we'll keep you updated on all the exciting things happening with individuals such as Oneika. Until next time, take care. God bless. Bye-bye. Well, I certainly hope you've enjoyed the pilot episode of Life Champion right here on LexanTV.com. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes, and don't forget the podcast, our Life Balance series as well. Thank you so much for sharing this journey, and thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, I want to say a big thank you also to Grenada Marine and Laura's at Grenada Marine. You got to check it out sometime. Take care.